General weather outlook going forward over the next couple of weeks here. Another weekend goes by with another great big weather system over, well, centered really on North Dakota with areas of heavy rain and in the west some really heavy snow. Our spring weather pattern has gone wet. There have been concerns that some parts of the northern plains will be looking at drought going into spring, and that area of drought is shrinking greatly. This cold weather pattern, the wet weather pattern, has brought down a fair amount of cool weather as well. But what we're going to see here as the calendar turns from April into May is that there will continue to be these warm surges. Southern plains are heating up nicely. There's no snow on the ground in the southern plains or the central plains, and the ground is still fairly dry. So there's plenty of opportunity for that weather to get up into the 70s and 80s and even maybe approaching 90, and at times that may surge northward. For the moment, though, we've got pretty cold weather again. Heavy snow, parts of North Dakota has drawn cold air southward. That won't really last that long. Should be melting reasonably quickly this week. And as we go through the week, then, we will actually see a little bit of ridging take place. Some of that warm weather getting up into the 70s to maybe lower 80s will be getting up into South Dakota, and hot weather down in the southern plains as well. Now, as we progress on through the week, the cold weather really is retreating back to the areas around Hudson Bay, the far northwest, even parts of Alaska are starting to see some warmer temperatures. As we move into the weekend, there'll be a little bit of fluctuation here in the middle. We'll start to see a little wave come through that will likely cool things down a bit and drop some of that warm weather southward. And over the course of the coming week, I look for some ridging to pull some of that warm air back again. And again, it's probably not going to stay consistently warm anywhere of the northern plains, upper Midwest, but there will be some surges. Now, as far as precipitation goes, this last week of April, from the southwest up through the northern plains and up into southern Canada, it's going to be fairly dry, maybe little to no precipitation at all. Southeast will be fairly wet with showers and some thunderstorms there. The Pacific Northwest will continue to be wet, little to no rain for California. There may be a shower or two somewhere through this, but I don't expect anything well organized. Now, the second week, which is now the first week of May, I expect the dry pattern to shift east a bit into the eastern United States, and we'll start getting rainier weather into the northern plains and down into the western part of the Corn Belt. There's actually been a couple of models that suggest there could be a little bit of wet snow if the weather cools down enough. That's not a forecast, that's just a possibility, but it will be fairly stormy in the Pacific Northwest, and looks like we'll have some above average rainfall in the northern plains for that first week of May. So again, in review, the spring has gone wet in what had been a fairly dry northern plains, generally wet and cool with a few warm surges.